Know your gun and be a better player. In this video we're going to be looking at the FAMAS. We're going to be taking a very detailed look at how best to use this gun. We'll be talking about what attachments work best with it. We'll be studying the recoil patterns it gives. We'll be looking at about the advantages and disadvantages that it has over other guns. We'll be talking about what scenarios it works best in and what scenarios it works badly in, and helping you know this gun better. Well, greetings guys, and welcome to Know Your Gun, the FAMAS. Today we're going to be running with a reflex RDS scope. We're going to be running with a foregrip, and we're going to be running with a heavy barrel, and we'll talk a little bit later about why I've chosen those particular attachments. Throughout this video I'm going to be using lots of data from SimThic.com, so any charts and data about specific recoil and things like that all comes from that website, so a massive thank you to them. And if you'd like to see more data on that kind of thing, do head across to the website. The link is in the description. And while I'm kind of talking you through the FAMAS, I'm going to show you footage of a TDM map that I played earlier, where I ended up just about picking up MVP of the match using the FAMAS. And throughout this video I'm going to be talking to you about lots of the strengths and lots of the weaknesses of this particular gun, and giving you my suggestions on how to play it. Now, the FAMAS used to be an incredibly popular weapon, but since being patched and repatched, its popularity has seriously dropped off. The chart you're seeing on the screen there was made by a guy called John Stuart Mill, who again is on SimThic.com, and the bottom three pie charts there show you popularity from about a year ago. I made this video in July 2013, and the bright orange in the two right-hand pie charts on the bottom row is the FAMAS. In fact, all of them, the bright orange is the FAMAS color, and you can see that on the Xbox One and on the PS3 one, the FAMAS was really quite popular. Perhaps maybe about a quarter, maybe slightly less, a fifth of players were using it. Not very much on PC. But popular on the consoles. But then look at all of the pie charts above. The top row is players that have put in over 10,000 hours, and the middle row is players that have put in over 1,600 hours. And you can see there is very, very little orange on there at all. You've got basically a few players who use it perhaps some of the time or use it irregularly, but it is not a very popular gun, and the patch basically killed off any kind of popularity that the FAMAS really did once have. So you might quite legitimately be asking the question, well, hey Addy, why are you doing a video on Know Your Gun, the FAMAS, when clearly this is actually a very unpopular gun? Now the reason is actually what you just saw right there. Not me getting killed. A little bit before that is that the speed of fire of this gun, the rate of fire, is one of the highest in the game, and it's definitely the fastest assault rifle, which means that the time to kill, when you can get this gun on target and when the guy is in the right position, the time to kill is incredibly fast. When everything goes well, and that guy that I took out there, really, he probably barely saw me, to be honest, before he was dead, and that is the real strength of this gun and why someone might choose to use it. Now I got interested in giving this one a go because a guy in Team Europe, Rainbow Dash, I'm assuming that's not his real name, started a great new series called Underused Loadouts, and I was watching his video. He's getting some lovely scores with the FAMAS, and I kind of thought, oh, I've never really had a go with the FAMAS. I wonder what kind of statistics I've got with it. And I had a look at my own record and realised I'd never actually played the FAMAS at all. You can see on the screen there. You can see my statistics as they were before I loaded it up. It was a gun that I had never used. So I did as I said I would in my Know Your Gun introductory video, and I headed over to SimThic.com and had a good look at actually what this gun is all about, to try and decide how I was going to play it and how I was going to try and use it on the battlefield. So here are the statistics for the FAMAS. The first thing that's really going to jump out at us is that bottom left-hand figure there, 1,000 rounds per minute. The speed of fire of this gun is quite incredible. So let's think about where that's actually going to be useful in terms of a gameplay experience, and the answer is nearly the obvious answer would be close quarters, because when you have those experiences where you see some guy right in front of you, he sees you at the same time, you both push your triggers at the same time, the guy with the better aim and the better dancing skills but the better rate of fire is very likely to win that particular battle. So first big plus is that rate of fire. Now next to that we've then got the bullet distance which it travels, which it's reasonable. It's not nothing particularly special, but it's not a particular disadvantage as well. The distance that the bullet travels for is fine. You're rarely going to be shooting at that kind of distance, and it's got the standard suppression. And then and the same with the graph with the green line. The bullet drop off is comparable to other assault rifles. You're going to be giving 25 bullets, 25 damage at very close range, which is basically a 4-bullet kill, not including any headshots. And then that drops down to just below 20, so 18.4, once we kind of get out to about 50 meters or so. And because 20 times 5 equals 100, that means it's actually going to be a 6-bullet kill if you don't get any headshots or very high upper body shots with this gun, which again is fairly standard. But it does mean that as most kills with this gun is going to require multiple bullets, we are going to need to be able to get multiple bullets on target. Now, we can get multiple bullets out really fast because of that wonderful rate of fire, but as you'll see with this my little battle with this guy here, getting them on target is the big drawback with the FAMAS. It is so easy to fire 20 bullets across the map incredibly quickly, but this is a gun with a very difficult recoil pattern and actually a very unpredictable spread as well. Now what that means in terms of practicalness is that engaging targets beyond, say, middle distance is going to be quite tricky. The other disadvantage, which we'll be talking about a little bit later in terms of this gun, is also the fact that you fire so many bullets so quickly, you run out of bullets. And the reason I was running around there with the pistol is purely because I had used up all of my bullets far quicker than I would with another gun with a slightly slower rate of fire. Now, let's look at the statistics just beyond that little green graph, and the number that's slightly larger is 26. That 26 stands for your magazine size. Now, most assault rifles are going to be around the 30 mark, 30 bullets. This is 26, which is slightly smaller. It's 26, which is slightly smaller, combined with a faster rate of fire. What that means is you're going to run out of bullets very fast in your magazine or your clip, whichever particular word you want to use. The different people have been telling me to use clip and magazine today, but you know, whatever it is in your gun, you are going to empty it very fast. It is small, and you are firing at a very fast rate. But it gets even worse than that. If you look at the numbers above the 26, you've got the reload times. First number, 305. If you've got one bullet or more left in the chamber, it will take you a whopping 3 seconds to reload this gun. If you've got no bullets left in the chamber, it will take you 3.9 seconds, or let's round it, it will take you 4 seconds to reload this gun, and that is an eternity. Look at the reload here. 1, 2, 3, and I'm back. And when you're at close quarters, when you're battling people around corners and crates and things like that, to have to wait an entire 3 seconds, or even worse, 4 seconds to get yourself back ready to fight, that is a real problem. Now, putting all these things together, what that means is we've got a small magazine, we've got a fast rate of fire, and it's going to take a lot of time for us to reload the gun, and that is a bad combination. And it means that, as you'll see in this video, you're gonna die. This is not going to be one of those guns where you're going to go on a kill streak, which is 10 people or 8 people, 9 people, 10 people, because the fast rate of fire and the problems with the recoil and spread, which we'll come back to a bit later, means that you're going to be wanting to play in kind of close quarters. But the problems with the reload and things like that means you're often going to find yourselves in situations in which you will be unprotected for a crucial few seconds, and the person will run around the corner, someone will pounce on you from behind, and you'll be in real trouble. However, as you just saw there from those couple of kills, when it does go right and you do get the bullets on target, you can kill incredibly quickly. So for that reason, I would really put the FAMAS-Know in quite an advanced category of weapon. I don't think this is the kind of gun that you're going to be using as a beginner gun, or even a kind of a moderate player, because all the time this gun is pulling you in to get close quarters, to get closer, to take advantage of the rate of fire. But at the same time, you're delicate and you're fragile, because you're going to have periods of time when you are unprotected. If you come across 5 or 6 people running around a corner, or no, let's not even exaggerate, let's go 2 or 3 people running around a corner at the same time, you're going to be able to take out one really quickly. You're probably going to be able to take out 2, but have you got enough bullets to take out all 3? Probably not, and that third guy is probably gonna take you down. But it does mean that this is a really nice gun for taking out single targets. In fact, a very good gun for taking out single targets. It also means that as a gun for flanking, as I'm trying to do here, when you can take out unsuspecting targets, you can take them out really quite quickly. But again here, although you'll see I've had a very nice kill streak flanking that crew, and the FAMAS has been really good at taking out guys kind of as they've turned around, because I can shoot faster, I am now out of bullets and having to take advantage of other people's weapons. And although I swap back in the vague hope of trying to get hold of someone's ammo, it's unsuccessful, and eventually I get caught out. Now, let's talk about some of the other issues with this gun that make it tricky. And by the way, I'm not saying don't use this gun in any way. I'm talking. I want to kind of frame this in saying this is an advanced gun. It's going to be difficult to use, but because of that rate of fire, if you can get a grip on it, it can be rewarding. But this ain't going to be easy. Have a look at that recoil. That's you see where there's a green number and a red number right next to each other, 18 down and 2.6. Above that is the recoil. This gun will pull 0.35 to the left, this gun will pull 0.55 to the right, and this gun will pull 0.35 up. The first bullet will have a 2.6 multiplier. Let me put this in very simple language. This gun has got a hell of a kick, and it's going to have a pretty big pull, normally over to the right. This gun is going to go flying up in the air. This gun is going to jiggle quite a lot. It's also got a pretty wide spread. If you look at the next string of numbers, all in white, where you've got like loads of little 0.4s and 1.0s together, that's telling you the spread of this gun when you're standing still and when you are moving. So to put it together, you've got a gun with a pretty wide spread with a pretty big recoil, and that means when you are using these many bullets that you're firing, as you'll see what I'm doing there, you lose control of the gun pretty fast, because not only does this gun have a high recoil, it's spitting out bullets faster, which means you're going to lose control of the gun quicker. And one of the reasons why I've actually found it quite hard to adapt to this gun is because I'm having to adapt for a bigger recoil, as I almost get blown up here. I'm having to adapt for a bigger recoil, but I'm also having to adapt for that bigger recoil faster than I would if I was using an M16 or an AEK and stuff like that. So I haven't got mouse footage in this video, but if I was to do it, you would notice that I would have to be pulling down the mouse faster than I'm used to, and in a kind of a slightly bigger, a physically bigger distance on the mouse mat to counter that recoil as well. The other thing that perhaps one needs to do here is with this gun is to fire in shorter bursts, not necessarily in terms of bullets, but in terms of the time that you hold down the trigger. Now, I kind of get quite used to the time that you press the trigger with guns like the M16 and the AEK and all that kind of stuff, and it's kind of a drr, it's that kind of rate of fire which I'm quite used to. But however, with this gun, of course, that rate of fire is faster. Therefore, it's actually, by the time I've held down the trigger button for as long as I would hold it with another gun, I've actually spit out maybe 2 or 3 more bullets, which actually means I'm now 2 or 3 more bullets less accurate on top of that, combined with the dodgy recoil anyway. So you'll notice when what I'm trying to do in this video is actually bring down my burst length to what feels like very, very short indeed, but of course I'm actually still launching quite a few bullets when I do so. So one definite when using this gun is going to be to fire in short bursts, but with this gun a short burst is shorter than it is with other guns, so get used to it's almost like tap firing but just a touch longer. Now let's get some more bad news out of the way at this point. This gun has some of the worst iron sights I think I have ever seen. I'm giving you a little bit of picture-in-picture footage here from the point when I hadn't unlocked the RDS here. It's a big chunky iron sight with a tiny hole, and at the point you put that iron sight kind of in front of your face, you can't see anything. In fact, and the hole is so small you can't really see if you're still on target on the enemy as well. And I can tell you that when I was trying to get myself to some decent sights, it was a very long 50 or so kills, and I actually did most of it on nosehair canals, point blank range, in the middle of the crates, just taking full advantage of the fact of that rate of fire and just kind of gunning people down. It was a deeply unpleasant experience because just locking onto targets at long range with those iron sights really it is not fun at all. I would recommend that as quickly as possible you get yourself to the RDS, and then if you prefer the Cobra or the hollow sights, when those become available, switch to them, because this is definitely not going to be a gun where you're going to do the hollow sights. But continuing on the theme of attachments to the gun, I have added on, as I said at the beginning, the heavy barrel and the foregrip, and the reason why was actually what you just saw on that clip where I shot that guy on the higher levels, because the gun's initial stats give you a fairly inaccurate first bullet, and what that means is when you're engaging a target at longer range, even if you tap fire, just firing say 1 or 2 bullets, you're gonna have problems getting your bullets on target, quite frankly. But by putting the heavy barrel on, although that does actually make your recoil pattern even worse, and we'll come back to that a little bit later, it does give you that crucial first bullet bang on target. And therefore, when I was trying to take out that sniper up in the block of flats and that other target further away, but by tap firing, I knew that my first bullet was going to be on target, and therefore I knew that if I just was able to get enough bullets into them just where going tap tap tap, I was going to get that kill, and I did. So I would strongly recommend, when you're considering attachments here, that you either go with the heavy barrel or perhaps the flash suppressor to try and minimize your recoil. But that heavy barrel to give you that first on target bullet, in my view, is quite important. But it does depend how you're planning on playing the gun, because when I've been reading around different people's views on this gun, there are quite a lot of people saying, hey, just run this thing from the hip and run around. And if you're going to do that, then I guess you're going to stick a red laser on the front of this, and you're not going to bother with a heavy barrel. But for me, it doesn't really work as a hip firing gun because of that low bullet count. It's not like an MP7 where you can strap on an extended mag and just basically kind of run around firing from the hip. You will be out of bullets in a second, maybe a second or 2 or 3 using this gun. You can't just hold down the button and mag dump. Firstly, it hasn't got the accuracy of an MP7, and secondly, you won't be able to fire for long enough to make it worthwhile. And by putting on a heavy barrel, and you can, and you'll see in this clip now, I go back to try and get that sniper that got me before, and just having a target that's just a little bit further away, with just a little bit of kind of tap firing and compensating for the recoil, I am able to take out those longer targets, and I'm not sure if I would be able to if it wasn't for those attachments. Let's just have a look at the recoil pattern though. This is a lovely graph again from Simthic.com, where they've simulated a 5-bullet burst and all the kind of possible locations it might go in, and you can see, as you would expect from the statistics, that the recoil pattern on the whole goes up, and it goes up and to the right. But if we compare this to another gun's recoil pattern, you'll actually see just how high, how big this recoil pattern is. This gun is going up a lot further than other guns, a lot quicker, which means, like I said earlier, we're going to need to be pulling down hard and fast to get a controllable pattern here. So on the right hand side of your screen here, top right, you can see the M416 recoil pattern. First obvious thing we've got to see is the massive difference in the size of that recoil pattern. The M16 is small and it's tight. The FAMAS is basically all over the place. The M16 goes straight up, just like the G3A3, which means you've only got to counter the recoil by pulling down, whereas the FAMAS goes off to the side as well, which means you've got to learn to fire in that kind of diagonal. However, you might be kind of thinking, well, hang on, Adipose, lots of guns go off to the diagonal, and that's not too much of a problem. Okay, fair enough, let's compare with one of them. So here's the big dog, the most popular gun in Battlefield 3, the M16A3. Again, it pulls off to the right, and in fact, I would argue actually pulls off at a more steep diagonal to the right. But again, look at the size of that recoil pattern. Is a lot tighter together than the FAMAS. I mean, you could get bullets really with the FAMAS kind of going up, or maybe even going up slightly to the left, looking at that pattern. And there's a bit of kind of guesswork involved there as well. We aren't definitely always going to get the same reading out of it, or the same kind of movement, whereas the M16A3, you more or less are. It's going to be a pretty predictable pattern over a relatively short area. The other thing that we can notice with the M16A3 is the size of that green dot. That green dot is your first bullet. The M16 without a heavy barrel is giving you a pretty accurate first bullet. The FAMAS is absolutely not. So if we swap the right-hand graph onto the FAMAS with a heavy barrel, you'll see that initial green dot is a lot smaller, which gives us those first accurate shots that I was talking about earlier. But look how much now I've got to compensate with the recoil really kicking up. Now, if you've been watching the footage of me playing this TDM, I'm a bit embarrassed with some of this footage. There's a lot of death. There's a lot of shots of guys that I'm thinking, I really should have got that guy. I really should have got this. I really should have got that. But that bounce of the recoil just flying up, and the way it kind of pulls to the side as well, I'm finding it difficult to counter for. I'm getting better, and like I said, I do end up with the MVP award here, and I do end up getting the highest, not winning the match for the team, but being a very strong kind of contributor to the winning side here. But there are a lot of kills here that I kind of think, well, with an easier gun, I probably would have got that kill, but because of this, basically because the gun just is bouncing around all over the place, it's a lot. I'm finding it harder to get those kills. So probably after all of this moaning, you're probably kind of thinking, well, why on earth would anyone want to use the FAMAS? There's a few reasons. First of all, Battlefield 3 has been out for a long time now. Players like myself, and maybe like you if you're watching this video, have been using the same guns for a long time now, and maybe you fancy a change, maybe you fancy a challenge, and this is definitely one of those guns that is going to be a big change, and it's going to be a big challenge. So, you know, trying something out. It's also a gun which can be very rewarding. You'll see from watching this footage, there are numerous occasions where I do get the recoil right, where I do get the jump on my opponent, and I kill them just so fast that it's a real kind of pleasure to you can dominate with it in the right circumstances, but you've got to try and engineer your movement to the circumstances which are favourable. Now, one of the reasons why the M16 is such a popular gun is because of the fact that it is a very versatile gun and works well in most situations most of the time. This is one of those guns that does not. It does not work in most situations most of the times. It works in specific situations. You want to try and engage 1 or 2 targets at a time maximum because of that small bullet count. You want to try and engage them at close to medium quarters without putting yourself in too much danger. You want to probably accompany this gun with a probably like the 93R or the G18, like another rapid fire secondary with pistol, because you will run out of bullets. Therefore, the ability to quickly flip to an alternative gun at close range and just finish them off, I think, is going to be really important. You want to try as often as possible not to empty your chamber, because if you empty your chamber, it will take you an entire extra second to reload, and if you're at close quarters, that's probable. You want to, as normal in modes, try and flank and get behind your opponents when you can. This is the kind of gun that's going to be brilliant for rush, because this kills so fast, that time to kill stat, because you can kill so fast when you're maybe like trying to capture an MCOM or defend an MCOM. The ability to just take out targets as they run in faster than they can react is going to be a really important asset of this gun. But I go back to my first point, that I think the biggest reason to use this gun is that it's a challenge, and it's another way of lengthening the lifespan of Battlefield 3, taking a gun which is seen by many of the community as being a poor gun, as you can see from its lack of popularity, and actually showing that you can win rounds with it, you can get some kills with it, but I will say you will die. You're always going to be looking to get close to the enemy, and you are going to get caught reloading on occasion. So this won't be a clean sheet by any means. But if you can, if you take a mode like Conquest, where often you kind of encounter the enemy in kind of patches, you fight them on checkpoint E and then checkpoint B and all that kind of stuff. If you're fighting small groups at a time, maybe that reload won't be too much of a problem. Then you can use this gun to its strengths, which is to getting the jump on your opponent. I do sincerely hope that this video has helped you know your gun, the FAMAS, a little bit better. Please do get involved in the comment section. You're more than welcome to disagree with my ideas and the things that I have suggested. If you've got other suggestions for the FAMAS, then please do add them in as well, and do check the comment section and read what other people are saying if you're interested in using this gun. Thank you very much for watching. Do give me suggestions for other guns that you would like to see me cover, and I will see you real soon. Take care. Bye bye.